Hello, I'm Jim, and welcome to Rallying in America, the Recce podcast. This podcast is an exploration of a rich history, the stories and memories of those who made and make Rallying in America so great. Enjoy the show. This week I talk with Michael Honn. We chat about being an instructor at Dirtfish, getting back in a car to compete after a big crash, and his upcoming rally schedule. Thanks for being on the podcast. Appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. I think it'll be fun. I think what you're doing is really cool.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. So you've been pretty busy. I was taking a look at your Instagram page, and I think you were just up at Dirtfish. Is that correct?
Yep. We had a chance to go up there a couple times in the last few weeks. First was just a private half-day shakedown in the new car. And that went really well. And then some issues, gremlins came up, and so we went back out for a practice day, and we didn't get all of but 4 or 5 runs, and none of those were full runs because things kept popping up. And so we've been busy figuring those out. I think we did figure it out, so we should be in good shape now for Olympus, which is next week, but we're going to do a little bit more driving this weekend, just around town and make sure everything's good, of course.
Okay, great. What car is it that you have?
Yeah, it's a 05 WRX chassis with a naturally aspirated EJ, a little 2.5 4-cylinder in there. So it'll be in the NA4 class for the ARA, which has been an awesome class to run in, super competitive, at least up here in the West Regional Championship. And I saw your episode with Ethan. He's also in the same class that we'll be running. So essentially made this car a nicer version of the last NA car that I had, and did everything I wish I did on the first car to this one. So I'm pretty excited to get it out there with full standalone ECU, nicer suspension, similar brake kit, but the motor itself is a lot more built than the last one as well.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. So you're getting ready for Olympus. So you must have some butterflies or getting excited about it, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Is this your first ARA race this year?
Yep. First ARA race this year, and even in the last year as well, I was off. So I'm excited. Definitely a couple butterflies. I was talking to some of the crew earlier today, and they're all excited for us to go out there. They have fun just wrenching on the car, seeing how we do. So their encouragement means a lot. But coming back, this will be my first competition since I crashed at OTR 2 years ago. So started this build from scratch as a result. It was a pretty bad crash, and it's going to be interesting to see what it's like to actually be back in the competition. The cool thing about stage rally is it's not door to door. You're really just racing against yourself out there. So I have 2 goals, and those 2 goals for the event is just to finish and, finish first team must finish. But we're not even looking at the podium. We're just trying to go out there, finish the race, and then not get passed while we're doing it. Those are the 2 goals that I have.
Right. Well, it's good to set sort of your expectations.
Yeah.
I don't want to say low expectations, but set the right expectations. So.
Yeah. And I'd rather go in there with a clean slate, nice mellow mentality, and see how we do at the end of the event. But I'm not one of those guys that likes to check times after every stage and see where we're ranking. I'd rather just race against myself out there. Me and my co-driver go out, do our best, and see what the results are at the end of it.
All right, excellent. So how did rally start for you? Your first car, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. First car was nothing special, and really grew up in a family that wasn't into motorsports whatsoever. So I kind of stumbled upon watching Travis Pastrana's Nitro Circus early on. He's doing a bunch of crazy stunts on there, not tons of car or rally driving stuff, but was aware of Travis Pastrana through that. Was following him, and then saw that he was doing some rally driving, and kind of asked, like, what is this? And that was about the same time that Ken Block was releasing his Gymkhana videos, which was just like the most cool, aggressive, sliding, but rally car style driving that I'd ever seen. I was like, man, I want to do something like this. And so I was just looking through my Instagram as well. I think the first stage rally I ever went to was back in 2014. So that was right when I was like graduating high school, going into college. Went out with a friend that was also into the rally thing, and went and just saw it in person. Was kind of like, man, I want to do this sometime. So got through college, and I was always kind of a car guy naturally. As early as I could, I got a job so I could start making money and buy myself my own car. My parents I have a twin brother, and they got us 2000, I think it was a Toyota Camry to share. So
Oh,
nothing special. It was, an old grandma car, like literally 200,000 miles on the odometer,
oh wow.
previously owned by an older gal. And it was perfect. It was the first car, super grateful for that. But I was like, man, I want something cooler than this, more exciting. So quickly jumped into work. So even in high school, I had a job at Starbucks, and I had a paid internship. I was working already like 30 hours plus a week all through high school. So that by the end of high school, I was able to buy my first Subaru, which was a WRX.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really fun, and built that to the street rally level that I understood of just, put some mud flaps on it, have functional wheels, and make it look cool with carbon fiber hood and stuff, but
Yeah.
nothing
Well,
crazy.
right.
And diverged from there. So I ended up driving that around, getting a little bit of driving experience. Didn't really know what I was doing, and I ended up crashing that one as well. So you learn it when you crash, I guess. But I rolled
Right.
that one over on some back like logging roads, which really you shouldn't be out there doing that, anyways. And learned my lesson of like, hey, well, if I'm going to do this, I want to do this the right way and make sure I'm
Mhm.
doing it legally for one, and I have safety equipment for two. And that's what kind of got me into the rallycross scene, which is the Northwest Rally Association, which I'm sure some other people have chatted about on the show as well.
Right. Yep. Yeah, we've talked about a lot about how SCCA Rallycross has been sort of the gateway for rally and how it starts. So I'll be hopefully going Sunday to my first Rallycross event to observe. I got a friend of mine and his son that want to do it and race, and hopefully my son will get involved and do it. So I don't know
Awesome.
if that I'll race so much because I've had several spine fusions and
Okay.
I'm due for
Yeah.
a couple more. So
Yeah.
probably not a good idea to get in there and do it quite yet until the doctor says it's okay. But I'm
Yeah.
really excited to watch my first rallycross race. So
Yeah. Yeah.
in
It's cool.
person. So
It's, not at all the pace that you'll see out on stage rally, but it's
mhm.
a great place to start. Ironically, the Northwest Rally Association, initially when I first started with them, was through the SCCA, and then they branched off and started their own essentially race series and association, got their own insurance and everything, because they felt like there were some limitations with that that they wanted to overcome by essentially being independent. So SDCA, I think for the rest of the country is great. If you're in the Northwest, that Northwest Rally Association is a great place to start, and absolutely like low investment. You can have your daily driver out there as long as your wheels stay on. You got a
Right, right.
seatbelt and a helmet. And so that's a great place to start. It'll teach you a lot of just low speed car control. Lets you get a taste of it before you invest tons of money and time to be like, is this something I want to do more of? So
Right. Very
that's really
cool.
cool. Is that event close to you guys, or you have to drive a little ways?
It's only about less than an hour from where I am now. Um, and it's very familiar area. I actually used to live right close to where they set up the track and everything. So,
Cool.
and it's growing. The club is growing quite a bit, and so we're excited. But my friend, he has two BMW 2002s. He's got a
Nice.
71, and I think it's a 75 or 76, somewhere towards the end of the
Hmm.
production line on that, and he's gonna try and get that ready and race it. Maybe not this weekend, but coming up. So he just
Yeah.
wants to make sure he has good suspension and all that kind of fun stuff in it. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always an advocate of like get as much seat time as you can. So even if you're in the process of, tuning it up, making it even better, as long as you have some basic like safety gear and again, even like with rally, some underbody protection, I would say just do it. Like who cares if your shocks are blown out or whatever? Like don't let that stop you. That seat time's more valuable than having a new fancy part on the car.
right, right. Oh yeah, and he likes to run it. So he's not looking
Cool.
to like fully restore it and make it, show car or anything. He wants to have a lot of fun with it, and maybe take the 71 and make that a little bit better. Who knows what he'll end up doing? So, but back to our early on, you talked about being at Dirtfish. I think this past weekend.
Hmm.
What's your affiliation with Dirtfish? I think you've worked with them quite a bit. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Ironically, after my crash, I reached out and was kind of like, hey, do you guys have any chassis or any cars that you're looking to sell or close to stage ready?
Mhm.
And they didn't really have anything that fit the build, but I was like, I'm talking to Nate Tennis over there, who's one of the long-term Dirtfish guys, and was like, also, doesn't hurt to ask. Let me just ask, what's that process look like if I was interested in, getting a job at Dirtfish or wanting to instruct there? And he was like, ironic that you asked. We were actually thinking about reaching out to you to see if you were interested. So that started the conversation. And so I've been an instructor out there, limited part time, just on the weekends as I'm available. And that was probably about a little bit over a year, maybe a year and a half ago that I
Mhm.
started doing that. So that's my fun job. I have a desk job Monday through Friday, which is cool and a lot different. I'm not in a car seat, and racing off road, so it's not quite as exciting, but
Right.
um, full-time gigs marketing, which is fun. It's still in automotive, which is cool. So I'm grateful for that mix. And then on the weekends, it's been a blessing to get that seat time as I build this new car and came out of that big crash, just getting more comfortable, back in the car and getting that confidence back. So
Right. Okay.
um,
Great.
yeah, it's a great place to go out and hang out on the weekends.
Oh, very cool. Um, Tell us a little bit about what it is you do for work. I think it's automotive related. Excuse me.
Mhm.
Correct. It's
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'm
I work for a
babbling.
company called STEK, STEK, and we're the U.S. / North American distributor for STEK's paint protection film, window tint, and like ceramic coatings.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're all like protective automotive products, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been with those guys ever since college, so a little bit, I guess, approaching 7.5 years now. And it was just a really great opportunity where I met these guys working at their detail shop
Mm-hmm.
and like that. And after college, I was looking at jobs, and there's the big corporate world, and none of that really seemed too appealing. I went to school for business marketing, um, and didn't want to go work for like AT&T or some big
Right.
conglomerate. That was just depressing. But these guys had opportunity where, hey, we just got this film distribution, interested in jumping in and helping with
Mm-hmm.
sales. So I did sales for Stack for the first about 5 years. And
Mm-hmm.
then the last 2.5 years shifted gears away from sales into marketing. But I was really like employee number two there. And now we have a little bit over 20 folks on board.
Oh wow.
And I was able to grow the sales team and then start the marketing team and been growing the marketing team. So
Oh,
sales
very
was great.
cool.
I don't know if you've had any sales roles, but not too hard to get burnt out on those after a certain level and
Right.
just
Right.
especially at the management level. So going back to marketing the last 2.5 years has been awesome. And we've had some really cool collaborations, even with Adam Elsie and his rally car, which was, I had to be careful to
Okay.
separate church and state there, if you will. But, huge influencer, had really good content that we got out of that and some good brand awareness. So it's been cool.
Oh, that's awesome. So, do you mind talking about your crash at all? Um, and
No.
fill us in, talk about that and how you kind of recovered. The reason I ask is I'm soon going to have a sports psychologist come on.
Cool.
That you might know her, Betsy. She she helps drivers um, with just encouragement and overcoming a lot of obstacles and things like that. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to talk to her, but I kind of want to do some homework and get a feel
Yeah.
for what that's like to have a major crash
Yeah. Yeah.
and get
Absolutely.
back on.
Um, that's like, well, I'm gonna have to tune into that episode to see what I could have done better. But no, honestly, the crash was at OTR back in 23,
Mhm.
and we're just coming off Olympus where we got second in class, second overall for the West region, and felt really good about the momentum. We had good pace through OTR, and at the end of technically the second day, because Friday is just a little spectator stage. So
Mhm.
end of Saturday, it was like the second to last corner. the stage. And it was one stage that we didn't have time to review all the notes. And we went into this corner, probably like 75, 80 miles per hour. And we had what I've deducted as just the wrong note there. But I cut in too early, and it was over a blind crest. And we went into this deeper grass on the right side of the car, and there was a little berm there. And so that berm, as the suspension was already compressed, set us up on our door, and we just started tumbling. So we were going very fast to start tumbling. So initial thought was like, oh crap, the second I turned into that corner, I knew it felt off. We hit that berm, and all of a sudden I'm looking at the ground, out of my window. Glass shatters in your face, and then we just start rolling. And those hits were the most extreme thing I've ever experienced, to be honest. It was like 14.2 Gs, which is more than a fighter pilot, but not more than, other motorsport crashes. There's definitely been harder ones. That being said, it felt like a higher power came down and just smacked you in the face. Like I have a twin brother, we used to scramble when we were younger, had a few black eyes, gotten punched in the face, concussions, doing sports, whatever. And this was like uncomparable to anything I'd ever experienced as far as just that impact. And it scared me. We were headed towards a barbed wire fence with those like steel bars, rebarbs, like holding in, all the barbed wire. And there have been, unfortunately, a couple deaths in rally earlier that season and in the last year. And one of those was through, like an intrusion into the car. And so I thought for sure we're barreling right towards this fence, upside down, all around. One of these steel rods are going to come in the car and just really screw us up. And if it wasn't me, then it was going to be my co-driver. And by, luck of fate or higher powers, however you want to look at it, we ended up hitting this massive boulder right before the fence. And we actually jumped the fence entirely. We didn't even scrape the fence, which is good for the property owners that has to go out there and race. So we jumped the fence, and we probably rolled 6 to 8 times. The GoPro I had, the mount broke, so it just like flipped out of the car and just kept flipping, but you can just hear the car thunk, thunk, thunk.
Wow.
And so, as we're spinning in the air, first I screamed a little bit. I was like, oh man, I think like I'm going to die. And then once I wasn't dead, I just, between every like flip and bump, I was just like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Because I didn't know how my co-driver was doing or what was going on over there. And then we came to a stop on I guess 2.5 tires that we had left on the car. We were upright, which was great. And then I was like, you okay, dude? He was fine. Colin Katagiri was in good shape. Thankfully, he's fairly athletic. He's a climber. He has a muscular build. So he actually ended up being pretty good in that crash. No big injuries, a little whiplash to the neck. I hit the roll cage pretty hard with my head, so I had a pretty bad concussion. And through my stilo, I had like a bruise on my forehead from where I had impacted something. We get out of the car, and it's just crushed. Like every single side of it was bent in. The front, most of it was just ripped off. Roll bars in the back, like seat pillar were bent in. Wheels were broken. Everything was just, it was a yard sale of parts, and the car was just absolutely destroyed. So it was devastating, obviously, to know that, but to be able to literally walk away from it was a blessing. We were both like, we thought we were okay. So we had our okay sign out, and we hit like okay on the rally safe, and, let other people finish their races. But after a few people reported what the crash was, and I saw on the rally safe, it was 14.2 Gs. They shut down the stage and sent an ambulance out, and we got checked out and all that. So, that's kind of one perspective on it, but, wasn't fun. Wouldn't recommend it. And my impression coming out of that was like, truly, I wouldn't even wish that upon my worst enemy. Like that was just such a violent experience.
Yeah. So then how long did it take you to kind of build your confidence back up and, okay, I'm going to get back behind the wheel? Or
yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I don't know if there was a definitive moment, but it wasn't very long. I didn't really consider not wanting to go back out and do it. But I was a little bit on the fence for the first week or two. I mean, when the EMT came by, he was like, who's the president? I was like, I can't even remember. Like, I hit my head that hard. Like, memory was out the window. And so, I realized the risk, and I was also just super grateful and grew even more faithful from the event as far as just like, dang, I'm blessed to be here. And it was really cool. One of my clients that I work with through STEC saw the crash and what happened, and started a GoFundMe. to help me get back into a new car. And that had pretty good momentum. I think we raised about $7,000,
Oh,
give or
very cool.
take. And I
Yeah.
was like, you know what, if there's this many people that are here to stand behind me and help me get back into it, like I got to get back into it. So,
Right.
there's a lot of bad crashes at any time you're going to push yourself and expand your horizons. There's always that risk. And we all know that as rally drivers. So,
Right.
um, was able to look at it as, safety gear did its job. The roll cage did the job. We walked away. Like,
Hmm.
I think I have a good enough ability to go out there and race that I want to keep using that talent and seeing how that goes. So, I was on the simulator within that week of
Hmm.
crashing, and I just have
Okay.
a little sim at my at home computer. Pretty much as soon as I could, because I knew, like, if you get stale, you're not going to want to go back out.
Right.
And then working out at Dirtfish, there's a training period that took me about 3 months to get
Mhm.
through before I was actually teaching. And there was, I think, one day in particular where I was like, I'm sorry, this is a little bit too much. I just need to go home and kind of relax and decompress. And so getting back in the seat out there was a huge benefit to gain that confidence back. And every time I'm out there a little bit more, I'm still not where I was. So
Right.
that's where we'll just see how Olympus goes. But I also did some therapy with a counselor, and we even did some what's called, I think, EMDR, excuse me, which is eye movement desensitization therapy or something like that.
Mhm. Okay.
And it's common for folks with like PTSD and coming back from traumatic events. But essentially, it works with eye movements and thought process to tap into that subconscious and kind of reprogram any negative emotions you might have associated with
Oh,
certain
wow.
memories.
Okay.
So we did, I did a few sessions of that and seemed to come out of it in a better headspace than before doing that. As far as, if I think about that event, I don't have the same emotion draw that comes out of it. I'm kind of at peace with what happened and ready to go back out there.
Right. Okay. Very cool. So that being said, what's your schedule look like for the rest of the year? You said you're going out to Olympus, but what do you
Yeah.
have planned
Yeah.
after that?
So shooting for a handful of the West regional events, Olympus and OTR are the big ones. Olympus is, first time racing the car. So hopefully we figure out any gremlins and don't have to deal with that. And then OTR is going to be the redemption event. Hopefully we finish that this year.
Right.
And so that's April, May. And then we have Tour de Forest and Mike Nagel later in the year. Depending how we're doing the championship, definitely going to do Tour just because I love racing out there in Shelton
Right.
and those logging roads. Mike Nagel is a little bit more out of the way, but I'll probably go down for that. It's a one-day event, but it's a lot of driving for that. So those four are fairly locked in. And then I would love to make it out to like Nevada or Colorado. It just comes down to logistics, time off, and
Okay.
money. So we'll see how
Yeah.
that pans out.
So will you have the same co-driver in that schedule and your crew, the same crew?
Yeah, yeah. Super fortunate. Should have Colin back in the car with me for all those events. Him and I were just
Mhm.
hanging out earlier this week doing some recce review, getting ready for Olympus. He was just on a sabbatical in Japan, so he came back like 2 days ago, and we had a chance to connect already. I'll see him again this weekend, and then we go out to the races next week. And he's available for everything except for if I do the Colorado or Nevada. He is planning on going back to Japan for another 3 months. So I'll miss him for those two if I make it out. Otherwise, hoping to get the crew out. And super fortunate, I made some good friends through Rallycross. Actually, just some random guy was like, "Hey, can I jump in with you one
Oh,
day?"
very
Like
cool.
6 years ago. We've been friends ever since.
Mhm.
I kind of helped him get his foot in the door in the mechanic world because another friend needed a apprentice, if you will, and so he got trained
Mhm.
up, and now he's master tech at Subaru down in Bend, Oregon. So him and a few of those guys I've met and become friends with are coming out as well. So we have like, I think, 4 guys coming out to the crew that are all master techs for Subaru. Super cool, nice guys, all from
Very nice.
Bend, and then one guy from up here who's a Porsche mechanic, and then one other guy that's been in the detailing world at the dealership side. So full crew. We got like I think 6 guys or so coming out to help have a good time and make sure we keep the car in one piece.
Right. Oh, very cool. Very cool. So do you plan on, just keeping that same pace, for the next couple of years, or do you want to do even more, you know, kind of way out in the future, I know, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
what you're thinking?
Long term goal. I would love to, this year get out there, get comfortable, see how we do. I am a competitive person, but I also like to stay humble and just, let the driving speak for itself. So we'll see
Mhm.
how we do this year. again, no idea how it's actually going to feel once the Hans is on, the helmet's in, and we're at the start line. So
Right.
this year, get through the races, keep the car in one piece, and then next year we'd love to do ideally the full West Coast tour. If not, depending
Nice.
on like time and money ability, would love to branch into
Mhm.
the national side of things. So do the whole national, main 6 to 8 events that they're running. So national is interesting. It's honestly more competitive at the regional level in the
Mhm.
naturally aspirated class than it is at the national. There's
Okay.
just more entrants, and at least for the West Coast, there's tons of talent and really fast
Mhm.
cars. So it's easier to get some national podiums at that level, but it's more the ability to and desire to go see the rest of the country and see what their roads are like on the East Coast and in the Midwest. So that's the long term, could be 2 years, could be
Right.
5 years out. Do a couple national things. Would love to be a national champion.
Yeah,
As
very cool.
just open as I can be
Right.
on that,
Right.
and then we'll see where life's at and how much we want to risk.
But very cool. You going to go back and do anything rallycross related, where your primary focus is on the rally?
Primary focus is stage rally. If
Mhm.
it's kind of like the months we have between say May and I think September is kind of when the regional events pop back up. Probably do a couple rally crosses just to give you know take the car through its paces. Give the Northwest Rally guys some more attention because they're where I got started and they're great. So it'd be totally cool to go out there, do a few of those events. Cost to run the car so far isn't super high, so as long as I can run some tires I've already used and stuff, then it's pretty easy to go out there.
Okay. Hold on a sec. For some reason, my recording stopped.
Oh yeah, no problem. I am recording on my end too, so I can send you these
Oh,
if you
that
need.
would be fantastic. I'm not sure what happened. Let's see if it picks back up. Yeah, I apologize for that.
No,
It
no worries at
just,
all.
yeah, I'm having a little bit of hiccups tonight. I'm not sure
Yeah,
why, but
yeah, probably because we're
yeah, if
trying
you could
a
send
new
me a
software.
copy, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
If you
I
could send
gotcha.
me a copy, that'd be great. So,
No problem.
but um, yeah, real glitchy. Not sure. We've had a lot of power outages due to thunder and lightning storms and that today and the other day. So I don't know if something is going on or not, but it's picking back up. Yeah. So I'd appreciate that big time.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
first time it's happened. So
Well, I'm
just
glad.
up and down. So,
Yeah,
um, well, I really appreciate you coming on and taking a little bit of time out of your week and chatting. And I really wish you the best in the next rally, and I'll be checking out the updates on that, and then we'll have to circle back around and see how things went and chat about that. And yeah, and continue to have fun with that Dirtfish instruction or being an instructor. That would be a lot of fun. Now, Dirtfish pretty much is rear wheel drive cars. Is that correct?
so it's split. It's all-wheel drive
Or all
STIs and then rear-wheel drive BRZs. So they have either drivetrain you can choose from.
Oh, okay, very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have a preference?
Confidence wise, I know all-wheel drive better. Honestly, I had pretty much no off-road rear-wheel drive experience before
Mhm.
starting at Dirtfish. So now I am pretty comfortable with it, but overall confidence is higher in the all-wheel drive. You go a little bit faster, but I always say more miles per mile in the rear-wheel drive. So,
Okay,
there's
very
no wrong choice.
right.
If you're sliding around the gravel, both are fun.
All right, very cool. Well, thanks again. Appreciate it. And yeah, we look forward to watching your progress and chatting once again, obviously. So
Yeah, my pleasure.
have a
Thanks
good
for
evening, and we'll be in touch.
awesome. Sounds good, Jim. Well, thanks for having me on. Enjoy your evening, and I look forward to seeing how this goes. We'll keep you guys posted.
All right, thank you. Take care.
All right. You too. Thanks.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to be on the podcast, you can email me, jim@jimboothdesigns.com, or message me through Facebook at Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast, or Instagram, rallying_in_America. Special thanks to our sponsor for this episode, Brady Instruments. pro-grade, handmade, professional fuel hydrometers. Visit BradyInstruments.com for all of your fuel testing needs. And remember, don't be a fool. Check your fuel. Thanks to Toontank and the artist Nuclear Wave and their song In Drive for the podcast theme music.